Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Canada Immigration. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we will talk about India-Canada diplomatic fallout, high-ranking diplomats withdrawn. The diplomatic relationship between India and Canada is facing a significant crisis, marked by the withdrawal of high-ranking diplomats from both countries. This unprecedented fallout follows serious allegations that have sparked political tensions and raised questions about the future of their bilateral ties. As both nations navigate this complex situation, the implications for international diplomacy remain profound. If you are interested in this topic, to get all the information, pay attention and watch the video through to the end. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. The escalating diplomatic conflict between India and Canada is not just a political standoff, it is likely to have far-reaching consequences for immigration policies, visa processing, and the lives of immigrants. As the dispute intensifies, both governments have already begun recalibrating their diplomatic strategies, and immigration, which is a cornerstone of bilateral cooperation, is expected to take a significant hit. Latest update on Indian-Canada diplomatic rift. As of the latest update, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the Indian government has made a fundamental error as he accused it of supporting a campaign of violence against Canadians on Canadian soil. The Prime Minister spoke to reporters Monday, hours after the head of the RCMP laid out stunning allegations accusing agents of the Indian government of playing a role in widespread violence in Canada, including homicides, and warned that it poses a serious threat to our public safety. Earlier in the day, Canada announced it was expelling 6 Indian diplomats. India has denied the allegations and quickly retaliated, ordering 6 Canadian diplomats to leave the country within a week. We think it is obvious that the government of India made a fundamental error in thinking that they could engage in supporting criminal activity against Canadians, here on Canadian soil. Whether it be murders, extortion or other violent acts. It is unacceptable, Trudeau said during a Thanksgiving Monday news conference. No country, particularly not a democracy that upholds the rule of law, can accept this fundamental violation of its sovereignty. Tensions triggered by Trudeau's allegations in 2023. The origin of the escalating tensions can be traced back to September 2023, when Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made allegations implicating Indian agents in the murder of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil. The Indian government strongly denied these accusations, calling them preposterous imputations motivated by political agendas. Since Trudeau's initial claims, India has repeatedly criticized Canada for failing to provide any concrete evidence to support the allegations. The Indian government reiterated this week that despite numerous diplomatic requests, Canada has not provided verifiable evidence to support the serious accusations. India described Canadian actions as part of a deliberate strategy to malign India's global reputation for domestic political gain. India withdraws diplomats, accusations of extremist ties and safety concerns. In response to Canadian actions, India's Ministry of External Affairs announced that it had summoned the Canadian Chargé d'Affaires and expressed dissatisfaction with Canada's alleged targeting of Indian diplomats. India stated that it has no faith in the ability of Trudeau's government to protect Indian diplomats, citing an environment of extremism and violence in Canada. High Commissioner Sanjay Kumar Verma, a senior diplomat with 36 years of service, was among those recalled to India. According to Indian authorities, the Canadian government has allowed violent extremists and separatists to operate freely, posing a direct threat to Indian diplomats and community leaders. India claims these threats include death threats against diplomats, community leaders, and even Indian political figures. In its statement, the Indian government criticized Canada's use of freedom of speech laws as a justification for harassment and claimed that several individuals involved in extremist activities were fast-tracked for Canadian citizenship. Additionally, India emphasized that Canadian authorities had rejected a number of its extradition requests for terrorists and criminals. Canada's response: credible evidence against Indian agents. The Canadian government strongly refuted India's narrative and insisted that the most recent developments are a result of an investigation with solid supporting evidence. Canada claims to have provided irrefutable proof linking agents of the Indian government to the murder of a Canadian citizen. Canada emphasized that India must now cooperate in the investigation and live up to its earlier promises of addressing any valid concerns. It is in the interest of both countries to get to the bottom of this, Canada's response stated, adding that it remains open to working with India to resolve the matter. Political and historical context of the diplomatic rift. India has long criticized Trudeau's government for its association with separatist elements that advocate for Khalistan, an independent Sikh homeland. Indian officials have alleged that Trudeau's administration, in its bid to secure political support from certain diaspora communities, has allowed extremist elements to flourish in Canada. This tension came to the fore during Trudeau's 2018 visit to India, which was marred by controversy after it was revealed that a convicted extremist had been invited to official events. India interpreted this as a sign of Canada's leniency toward anti-India sentiments. The relationship further deteriorated in 2020, when Trudeau publicly expressed support for Indian farmers protesting against agricultural reforms. India viewed Trudeau's comments as interference in its internal affairs and warned Canada against encouraging separatist forces. According to Indian officials, Canada's current political dependence on the New Democratic Party, whose leader Jagmeet Singh has expressed pro-Khalistan sympathies, has exacerbated tensions. India believes that the Trudeau government is pandering to separatist elements for narrow political gains. Geopolitical implications and next steps. The unfolding diplomatic crisis has raised concerns about the impact on bilateral trade and cooperation between the two nations. India and Canada are important partners in education, technology, and trade, with thousands of Indian students and professionals living and working in Canada. However, the recent conflict could affect visa processes, trade negotiations, and security cooperation. India's withdrawal of diplomats is likely to slow down diplomatic engagement between the two nations. Canada, on its part, has urged India to act responsibly and participate in the investigation rather than withdrawing its representatives. The political consequences of the diplomatic fallout are already becoming evident. Trudeau is under increasing pressure to defend his handling of foreign interference in Canadian politics, with critics accusing him of allowing foreign agents to influence Canada's domestic affairs. Meanwhile, India has warned that it reserves the right to take further steps, hinting at possible retaliatory measures against Canadian diplomatic representation in India. A diplomatic crisis with no clear resolution in sight. The ongoing tensions between India and Canada have entered a new phase, with mutual allegations creating an atmosphere of distrust. India's decision to withdraw its diplomats reflects deep concerns over the safety of its representatives and discontent with Canada's handling of extremists. On the other hand, Canada's insistence on India's involvement in a murder investigation underscores the seriousness of the allegations. With both nations holding firm to their narratives, the future of bilateral relations remains uncertain. Observers believe that diplomatic efforts and mediation will be required to defuse the crisis. However, with domestic politics heavily influencing the situation, a quick resolution seems unlikely. In the coming days, the international community will be watching closely to see how both countries navigate this diplomatic minefield. Will India and Canada find common ground, or will the crisis deepen, affecting millions of lives connected to both nations? A crossroads for immigration and diplomacy. The India-Canada diplomatic fallout has plunged bilateral relations into uncharted territory, with significant repercussions for immigration. The uncertainty surrounding visa processes, immigration programs, and student permits has created a climate of anxiety among applicants and current residents. Both governments need to prioritize resolving the conflict to prevent further disruptions to immigration and trade. Until then, Indian migrants, students, and workers in Canada face a period of uncertainty. If the standoff continues, it could damage Canada's reputation as an immigrant-friendly destination and force Indian nationals to explore other countries for education and work opportunities. As India and Canada confront the fallout from their diplomatic crisis, the withdrawal of senior diplomats highlights the gravity of the situation. This rift poses challenges to their long-standing relationship, and the path to reconciliation will be closely watched as both nations strive to restore trust in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. That is all for today. In this video, what are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.